Welcome for this new edition of my computational photography presentation for the months of June 2022. So it's basically me presenting you photos I took between mid-May and mid-June using my computational apps, photo apps that are Camare, Vica, Darkcam, and the not public yet, every month I'm saying this, digital Paula. But yeah, let's start with the three first images. So interesting months this month because I'm going to talk to you about the development of new modules. And here, typically, we're starting with three photos. The first one on the left is a self-portrait, basically simply because when I code my own apps, that's the first thing I can test is with some skin tones. I can either take a photo of my computer screen while coding or my head. And here I'm in my kitchen, and first try of a new concept I had. I wanted to create a module that transforms the texture and quality of the image based on the information content, the richness of the information content. So basically the first picture on the left is, actually the three of them are the same. They're my first tries of a segmentation of the image according to information content, how much information is contained in this specific section of the image. And basically what I'm highlighting here is, you can see where the image is the most complex, where I've highlighted it with stronger saturation and colors. The red colors show where the information is more concentrated. And those photos sort of gave me the idea that there could be something done simply based on the information content and not just the image aspect. So again here a larger photo, landscape photo I took in the Center for Photography in Geneva. It was during a book presentation. When I developed those modules, I sort of try them at every stage. I try them a little bit everywhere where I go. And yeah, here I don't like the blockiness of this embryonic module, this insaturator creative filter. But you can see I'm highlighting here where the image has the most information density. And at that point, I'm really starting to be convinced that I can do something interesting as a filter. Relating to information concentration. Here's three new examples. It's really an iterative process. I try to modify slowly the algorithms in order to have something that results in something I like more aesthetically or I find more interesting. And here we see on the left side, it's way too blocky. I'm still using a basic segmentation of the image, and I'm trying in the next two pictures, I'm trying to hide a little bit the blockiness, trying also low light photography to see where's the potential for that kind of filter could be, and really fine tuning the module in terms of geometric effects. Again, three pictures, and slowly here, as you can see, it's getting a little bit subtler. The blockiness is slowly disappearing because I'm really trying to find ways to hide the segmentation of the image, but still have this very specific digital matter expression of the algorithms. And yeah, here on those three photos, as you can see, it's more subtle, but I'm really starting to like that rendering. And the three next photos, that's where I'm really getting close to the final algorithms, the final insaturator that I will publish in the apps. And that's a texture that talks to me right there. Those are the three last, I think there were the three last versions before publication. And yeah, that again, scenes I took from my everyday life routine. And I feel that results are homogeneous. That's also something very important in the development of my modules. I don't want them to be too random in the way they react. When I choose a specific module, I want to expect something. That's why I chose it. So I want the end photo to be a little bit like how I imagined. Again, testing in different situation here. That's an interesting photo to me technically, because it's the information content, the complexity of the information is relatively homogeneous and quite complex. Well-lit scene, and that's again this new module, the Bomber Baba module, and it does react how I expected. So once you start using those modules, I really want that homogeneity of results, and here it does react. It seems more subtle, but to me it works. So that's when I really decide to distribute them widely in my apps. Again, on the left, 2 examples of that's the available module in those apps, the Bomber Baba module, what it results in when you use it, and yeah. So that was interesting. That's basically the development of that module, and it gave me another idea for a new module. So that's going to be a very development-oriented this presentation, because I directly went to developing a new module, which I'm naming Komop, which is not published yet as for the date I'm doing this video. And I'm going to try here in this module. That's the first example. I wanted to try to show better the compression artifacts of an image, whereas they're usually the less visible, which is basically in low contrast zones. Really, the border artifact, the compression artifact, and so that's the first example I got with my idea, my first batch of code. For that insaturator, and again, same process. I develop. It's a bit of a trial and error process, but here I'm quite rapidly falling on something that's disturbing to me. Is that the software module, the algorithms I'm developing, actually will render 2 very different results depending on how the image is built. And that's intrinsically based on the way I coded my module. And as you can see on the left, there's again, that's my daily shots just to try this embryo of a module, of a creative filter. And on the left, it's giving, the result is some kind of highlighting of the borders of complex shapes, but it's rather fine underlining of shapes. And sometimes it just results in that first photo example with large zones of artifact, like you can see on the sky. And basically, I like both outputs, but I wouldn't, when I develop, I was telling you about this a little bit before, I like the homogeneity of a module. When you choose a certain film in the analog world, it means you choose, for example, Fomapan 100. You're choosing it because you want it to react like Fomapan 100, not like Fomapan 100 once and then Kodak Gold's 200 the second time. You want to expect something out of it. And so here I've got kind of a technical problem. Again, here in the next 2.5 photos, let's say. On the left, you have this sort of zone effect on low contrast segments of the image, which I do actually like. I find really interesting. And then this underlining of shapes, quite fine artifactual thing on this diptych image. That was in Marseille, street photography in Marseille. And that's hard to, I don't really, at that point of development, I don't really understand why my algorithm is doing that. So yeah, basically when I get stuck like this and I want to try to resolve it, first I need to understand which of the 2 effects I like most in order to develop in one direction or the other directions to resolve my homogeneity problem. So I usually try to take pictures, and here 2 examples. I usually go back to forgetting about my code and going back to taking photos. And here, when I do that, I usually go to my app that's not public yet, which is the digital Paula app, which basically randomly processes images using old algorithms I've developed in the past, and tries to create presets. Actually, the barcode on the bottom lets me store the preset and get back to them later. That's going to be used in the future between all my apps. Anyways, so those 2 photos are in Marseille, with 2 of the renderings, random renderings that came out, which I liked. 3 more I really liked. On the left, the photo is in Marseille. Middle, that's in Wetzlar, in central north Germany. That's headquarters of Leica Camera. I was happy to be there at that time. And on the right, that I believe that's in Bourg-en-Bresse. 3 renderings, 3 other renderings I liked. So I usually take pictures, and that's the goal of it. All this computational development. It's not just doing the code, it's having actual images I find interesting. So going back to photography sometimes lets me resolve problems I have with the code. So going back to the code, let's go back. Again, when I develop my code, I usually work mainly on Camare, which is the most complex app I have, which is the most fine-tunable app. And here, that's the 2 pictures on the left are in Marseille. The further left picture is using the Bomber Baba insaturator, which was the one I talked about before, that I had developed before, which is based on information complexity. And here I'm using this Komop insaturator in the middle. And yeah, that's the highlighting of borders mode. I'll call it like this. And then again on the right side, that's what I will call the zone mode, where you have the low contrast artifacts. And I'm still stuck. What do I like most? So a little bit more trial of the app. Actually, I'm not developing much at that point, because I really need to choose which direction I'm going to try to solve the problem in. And basically, I really like the left photos are from Marseille. I really like this zone mode. But I actually like the border mode, like you see on the right. That's a children's traditional children bed in Wetzlar. I like this. Actually, it's got a little bit of both in that right photograph. So maybe I have the answer also to my coding problem here. But anyhow, finally, at the end of this month, it's going to be something to be continued next month. I'm kind of decided at that point that I will try to develop the module for it to react more homogeneously in the zone mode and the low contrast artifact enhancing mode, which you have on the right photo with this person in the bus, and the left photo, which is I believe at Frankfurt airport. Just in the middle, a small photo also using the Bomber Baba insaturator, which I dig a little bit. I like this module. Anyhow, hopefully next month I'll have resolved this algorithm problem and see where that insaturator is going to. And hopefully you found this entertaining. So don't hesitate, as usual, to ask questions or comment below. And see you next time.